know that you're ready to make food at home that tastes great, doesn't break the bank, and is guest worthy. Hi, I'm Mariela.
And I'm Eric, and we're here to encourage you to make your own croutons, sharpen your kitchen intuition, and show you how versatile food can be.
We're breaking down all things cooking to their most practical, delicious, and doable basics.
Welcome to our kitchen.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of Food FAQ, Cooking with Mariela and Eric. Today, we're going to kick off our Kitchen Basics series where we're talking about
Fat.
You say it like so deliciously.
Fat. Not all fat is bad.
All fat is delicious, right?
That's
Not
why
the
I'm
fat's
so
fault.
scrumptious, Mariella. So,
It's not the fat's fault that you
no,
eat too
it's
much
not.
from.
Not, I mean, at all. We are body positivity here, Mariella.
Amen.
All right, so today we're going to talk about fats that we want to keep and how to use them. So I think, right now there's so many different fats to choose from. There's coconut oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil. There's a confusion on what type of fats to have in your home. And I think just, keep it simple. So, we talk about, we hear a lot about extra virgin olive oil, creams, vegetable oils, sesame oils, and butter. And
Right.
I think, what do we do with those?
First, we got to talk about like why do we need fat, right? Other than it tasting good, like when you think about fat, like I think about bacon, grease,
Yeah,
which tastes delicious, but it's not something you keep ever, right?
right.
So, what do we need these fats for? Generally, you need them to kind of carry flavor, like when you think about making a dressing, right? That carries the flavor of the vinegar, the spices, whatever sweet
The
agent you,
vessel of flavor.
right? That was your um verbiage, and
Yeah.
it's delicious, you know? So it also adds moisture to baked goods, even to like meats. You know, we bathe it in butter, we'll bathe it in olive oil, and it adds like a lippy deliciousness to it when you're eating it. Sometimes you can use like extra virgin, right? We can use it two ways.
We can use it to, well, I think extra virgin olive oil is good to like physically eat.
Right.
Again, you talked about salad dressings, but something simple as dipping bread into it. It's a flavor thing, just kind of like almost like sesame oil. It's a flavoring.
So
And
true.
I think sometimes we get a little scared to use oil as a flavoring.
Hmm.
Um, but when it's used properly and in the right moderation, it's, perfectly fine.
And
Um,
irreplaceable.
right. It adds like an umami
Ooh,
to an umami
I
to
like
your
it.
meal. Exactly. But I think, some fats that people also don't think about to keep in your home, things like, cream and butter.
Right, you
Those are
don't
good
think of it as
also.
like a fat, right? I think most
Right.
people like cream. What do I use cream for? You can use literally cream in many, many absolute meals every day if you wanted to. You could literally use it for everything. But let's start with like the queen of oils, extra virgin olive oil.
Delicious.
Right, it's like the most all-purpose oil. If you have no oils in your house, have this oil.
Well, because it's an oil you can also cook with too. I mean, keep in
Exactly.
mind it burns easily. So
Yes.
it's not something you can necessarily deep fry with or whatnot. But you can penne with it, you can saute with it. Um, so if somebody is building like their kitchen, like they moved out of their home, they're building their kitchen, what are the fats that you would say people should keep on hand at all times?
Definitely extra virgin olive oil. And you don't have to get the expensive stuff, right? Because you may not be dipping your like Tuscan bread in it every day. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on olive oil. The cheap stuff is good enough if you're gonna cook with it because you're not eating it raw.
Right.
So have it, buy it. Like they have one at Trader Joe's that's like $8 and it's big and it comes with like a silver little pour thing in it. That's like the best olive oil to cook with.
Right.
And it's super inexpensive and it lasts you a long time.
So
And
besides
then
extra virgin olive oil, what else do you think?
I'm gonna say, like in my kitchen, right? I'm a cook right? I cannot replace the taste of sesame oil with anything else. I
Right.
need sesame oil. I use it more often than you would think. It comes in a tiny bottle. It lasts you for a very long time.
A little goes a long way.
100%. You just put like a teaspoon in like whatever sauce you're making for dumplings, or if you're making a stir fry, or many times I'll just make a sauce with soy, brown sugar, and a touch of sesame oil, and that sauce can go in anything. So irreplaceable for me as a cook, and it will be for you too soon once you realize how useful it is and how cost effective it really is to use. So far we've covered extra virgin olive oil. We talked a little bit about sesame oil. What else you got for me, Keith?
Butter.
Isn't it so delicious, butter?
All right, I'm gonna tell you something.
Tell
I'm
me.
actually not a big butter person, believe it or not.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not a big butter person. I don't put it on things. But I think that was a habit, a slap in the hand, like don't eat those calories.
Like a diet culture thing.
Right. So I think that's why I grew up like not eating, butter very often. Not that butter was banned in my home growing up. It was not. You know my mother. It was definitely
Yeah.
not banned in my home. Maria can eat her butter. But it's not something I really do. But I do want to say something about butter though. And
Mm,
I have talked about this. I think kind of like oils, if you're going to eat the butter straight out, like you're going to put it on bread, or you're going to make something where the butter is the main ingredient, like a shortbread or something like that, then go ahead and spend the money on like a decent butter, like a Kerrygold butter or something like that.
right.
But if you're just baking, like,
Regular, degular baking, you can just use a stick of butter from the name brand store place.
right, like if you're making like, chocolate chip cookies from like just a regular generic recipe of chocolate chip cookies, you could just use regular store-bought butter. The butter is literally in there to moisten it. It's not your main vessel of flavor.
Right.
I think right now we have a foodie culture, which is really fun, but we have a foodie culture that says that you need to buy the most expensive butter out there in anything you make. And you don't. You can
Which,
literally purchase the store name butter.
which by the way, store name butter is like $5 now, so it's not even like it's cheap. You're not buying like Land O'Lakes. No, I don't even like margarine. Margarine is a no-no. Like, don't use
No, that's
margarine. It's
no.
plastic.
That's just a no.
Yeah, like regular everyday baking, everyday cooking, you can buy the cheaper butter 100%. And it makes a
Right.
difference.
Right. It does. And like I said, if you're, like I know that like for you, like your breakfast is in the morning, you like butter on whatever you're eating in the morning. Trying to use a more expensive butter that way.
Yeah,
So,
which I do, right? Even if it's like slightly more expensive, I'll use a better, like I don't use like a stick of butter on my bread because you can't spread that stuff, man. It's incredibly hard to do. And I am tired in the morning and I need coffee and bread and
and
delicious
butter.
butter. And also another thing to mention about butter, I know that all the recipes call for unsalted butter, and I think that's another myth. I make all my baked goods with salted butter, and it tastes, I think, better.
Can I tell you, I sometimes don't pay attention to whether it's salted or unsalted.
You don't need
I
it.
just
It's
grab
bullcrap.
it. Some butters, even like, eat like a cheese, but
Yes.
those are butters that and yeah, remember that butter you got at Wegmans?
Yes.
Those are butters that you spend the money on. But if this is just a regular everyday butter in your home, there's no use in spending the money on anything really expensive. And if you're going to bake, you're baking for a party, holidays, just get the cheap stuff. It's not going to make a difference. No one's going to say, oh, this Nestle Toll House recipe is so much better with expensive butter. No one says that.
Yes, so I think that's just
So,
like a rule of thumb, right? You can use the cheap stuff if you're cooking with it. If you're adding heat, use the cheap. If you're not, if you're just eating it cold and raw, then you want to make sure you spend a little bit more, whatever you can, to make it taste more delicious. Then we have vegetable oil. I don't know if everybody carries this. I do. I fry from time to time. I make a very world famous chicken cutlet and fried pork
you
tenderloin.
do.
I made for you,
You
and
do.
they are,
The day you flew out, I came home from work and there were chicken cutlets in my home.
and they were
Now I know what
delicious.
my mom says. She's,
What?
like Mariela used to be, well, like Mariela used to be over more. Now I know why. Because I come home, there's chicken cutlets in my home.
Now you know what it's like to have a wife. That's not true. Now you know what it's like to be married to yourself.
I was like, when I first came out, my mom was like, "Who's gonna cook for you?" It's like,
You're like,
but
me,
that,
mom.
That's like, the boomer mentality,
I
back in the
know.
90s. But that's a whole
Uh,
nother episode.
100,000%.
I don't really keep oil in my home either,
You
but
don't.
I see the benefit of it. I don't, well, because again, just out of habit, I don't really fry much. But I will say though, that when you keep an oil like that in your home, I think it covers all bases of the fats that you want to keep. 'Cause I think, the point here too is like, like we talked about in the first episode, how can we keep things inexpensive? And by keeping things inexpensive is keeping staples in your
Hmm.
pantry. And so I think these four fats, 4 or 5 fats, however many we have here, that's a staple that you can have in your home.
Yeah, and vegetable oil you can also use for baking, which I don't do often, but I did make these muffins the other day with vegetable oil and they were yummy. So sometimes you can use vegetable oil for more than one thing. And me and you are both like super stringent on not monotasking any
Right.
kitchen thing, right?
Nothing. Right.
So these oils, extra virgin olive oil, not a monotasker. You can cook, you can marinate, you can saute, you can what else can you do with it? You could eat it if you buy a high quality, you could eat it raw with cream. You can literally put cream in anything. Literally in your mac and cheese, okay, with a little pepper and it's got your pepper. You put some parmesan in that sucker.
Maddie, do you remember back in the day
What?
when I used to make brownies, but I used to substitute oil for applesauce
Oh, because you
and
thought it was
convince
like
myself they were the
better.
most delicious thing, that I would eat the whole pan.
I
Yeah.
know. You were like,
It's fat
it's fat
free.
free. It's the 90s.
You made
Man,
fun
we
of
are
me for the
so dumb.
90s.
I know. Listen, but I tried them with you. You used to like that Krusty's brand. Is it not even the right name? I don't
I
remember.
have no idea what it's some
We used to make
brand
fun
that I
of
used
it.
to buy because it would just be like, put it with applesauce. It's fat free. And then, but if you eat the whole pan, not.
It's not
I'm
the
just,
fat that's the problem.
just putting it out there.
Which is funny you should say that, right? Yeah, people are definitely afraid of fat and they've been substituting it out for lots of stuff. But I feel like if you're gonna eat a cookie, eat the freaking cookie. Like there is no cookie substitute, in my
Mm,
opinion. Like if you just want one, just eat it. Obviously if you have like special diet concerns that are like it'll be detrimental to your health, don't eat the cookie. But if you're
right.
just a regular person, like just do it. Do the thing. Eat the fat. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna survive it. Just eat some more vegetables or something. I'm not a dietitian. I don't know, but I'm a very big proponent for eat the fat.
Well, I think also it's just like, take the middle path. I mean,
Hmm.
if you have a dietary restriction or a dietary concern about the fat content or caloric content in an oil, if you're going to eat a cookie, eat a really good one. And,
Right?
you just have to use, moderate. If you're concerned about the calorie intake, use moderation. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of having,
Many
10
cookies.
mini cookies in a sitting, 10, 12. I'm guilty. But, you know, um, but if you are concerned about that, then go ahead and, you use moderation. Have one or two really good ones, and
Yes.
that will satiate that feeling for it. So, but I think if these basic fats are kept in your home, this is, the start of, like, you and I started this podcast. This is the start of you being able to build your own home cooking. Just,
Yes.
with these.
So we're going to recap. So it's extra virgin olive oil at any price point, depending on how you want to eat it. Cream is excellent to have, and it also lasts a long time in the refrigerator. Cream
Right.
lasts a really long time, which is my favorite thing about cream.
Yeah, the half and half is still in my refrigerator from when you were here last.
But you bought
And
25 gallons of it, which is not my fault.
I don't know what I was buying. You come over, you come see me. There's like a vat of half and half in my
Which I
house.
loved. Thank you so much for that because I really need half and half of my coffee. I cannot stand powder or milk. Milk is like the devil, the devil, the devil, and it's that and black coffee is for the devil. That's the
I like
mark
my
of the
coffee
beast,
black.
okay?
My apologies. I like my coffee black.
I know.
My bad for being a purist, okay?
Yes, pure. Oh, shut up. Okay,
For
listen.
enjoying the bitter
The
taste
bean juice.
of peach juice.
Coffee is a vessel for sweet things and creamy things to make you wake up and remember that life is sweet. That's what it is, Eric, okay? That's what coffee is. It's a metaphor for life.
It's not. But okay. That's
All
well,
right. We're recapping, damn it. Okay. Extra virgin olive oil, cream, vegetable oil, sesame oil, and butter. These are the like ground zero basics in your kitchen right now. And if you have to not get some, then you can skip out on like the cream and butter. What do you think? And the I mean on the cream and sesame oil, what do you think?
I mean, I think if you had to skip some right now, I think the cream and sesame oil, because sesame oil, we did talk about comes in a small container. It is a little pricey.
Hmm.
I think the last time I bought sesame oil, it was not too long ago, and I think it was like $8 or something like that for a small um
Yeah.
container. And I bought it at like an H Mart, and it was still, like $8 for it. So, but I think if, those are your bases, but if you had to cut two out, I would say butter and sesame oil, only because you can substitute the oil for butter. If you're looking for flavor, you can use the extra virgin olive oil instead of butter.
Yeah.
But if you want to be really good, use extra virgin olive oil with butter. But that's
That
another
is
topic.
another day.
Yeah.
That's a teaser, baby, for another day. Okay, well, I hope that we helped you understand how much we really like to eat food, especially fat, and how necessary it is in your kitchen. If you have any questions, please, please, please drop us an email. We are happy to answer anything or leave us a comment. And don't forget to leave us a review, 5 stars, please. And you
What's
can
our
hit us
email,
up.
Mariela?
Oh, it's on our show notes, but it is foodfaqpod at gmail.com. And you can find us on Instagram at a handle that I can't remember right now, but it will be in the show notes. Anything else, Keith?
No, ma'am.
All right, we'll see you in the next one. So we're going to continue our kitchen basics next time you hear us. Have a great day. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Food FAQ podcast.
Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts so that more kitchen magicians can find us and invite you to their dinner parties.
Connect with us over on Instagram at FoodFAQ Podcast for more fun and recipes. See you there.